It was a bitterly cold evening in early December when Olivia Carter wrapped her scarf tighter around her neck and trudged through the snow-laced streets of downtown Portland. The holiday lights glimmered overhead, casting warm hues against the icy sidewalks, but none of that warmth reached her bones. She had just finished her shift at the hospital, where she worked long hours as a nurse in the trauma ward, and all she could think about was getting home, putting on some fuzzy socks, and curling up with a cup of peppermint tea. As she approached the corner near Maple and 4th, she noticed a figure slumped beside the entrance of an old, shuttered bookstore. It was hard to tell at first whether it was a pile of discarded clothing or a person. She slowed down, instinctively cautious, but as she got closer, she saw him clearly. An older man, his beard tangled and gray, his skin raw from the wind, and his thin jacket clearly not built for the sub-freezing temperatures. Olivia stopped in her tracks. She could have kept walking like most people did. She could have told herself that it wasn't her problem or rationalized that someone else would help. But she was raised differently. Her father, a veteran and lifelong public servant, always said, "You can measure a person's soul by how they treat someone who has nothing to offer them." So, without another thought, she took a step closer. "Sir," she said gently, crouching beside him. "Are you okay?" The man stirred slightly, his eyes opening slowly. They were a pale blue, almost ghostly in contrast with the deep creases in his face. "I'm all right, miss," he said hoarsely. "Just waiting for the sun." Olivia glanced up at the dark sky. The forecast said it would dip below 15 degrees tonight. "You won't make it through the night out here," she said. "Do you have somewhere to go?" He gave her a tired smile. "This is as good a place as any." There was a beat of silence as Olivia considered what she was about to do. She wasn't reckless. She had seen her fair share of unpredictable behavior at the hospital. But something about the man's voice, quiet, lucid, almost poetic, told her he wasn't a threat. "I live just a few blocks from here," she said carefully. "I have a pull-out couch, a warm meal, and a shower if you want it." The man blinked, clearly surprised. "You do that for me? It's freezing, and I can't walk away and pretend I didn't see you."
Come on.
"I'm Olivia." He hesitated, then slowly pushed himself to his feet with visible effort.
Thank you, Olivia.
"I'm Thomas." Together they walked through the icy streets, drawing stares from a few passers-by. Olivia didn't care. When they reached her modest apartment on the second floor of a brick building, she ushered him inside, helped him remove his boots, and handed him a towel and some clean clothes from her brother's old stash. While Thomas took a shower, she heated up a large bowl of vegetable stew and toasted some bread. When he emerged from the bathroom, shaved and wearing warm clothes, he looked like a completely different person. Still older, still weary, but human again, visible in a way that so many homeless individuals are not. Over dinner, they spoke quietly. Thomas told her he had once been a high school history teacher. He lost his wife to cancer 15 years ago, and the grief had unraveled everything else, his career, his relationships, his purpose. "I tried to keep going," he said, stirring his spoon in the broth. "But after a while, it just felt easier to fade out." Olivia nodded gently. "You didn't deserve to be forgotten." Thomas smiled. "And yet most days I was." He fell asleep on the couch that night, covered in blankets, snoring lightly. Olivia went to bed thinking that she had done something right. A small thing, maybe, but right. The next morning, she made coffee and found Thomas already awake, sitting quietly by the window, staring out at the snow. "I'll be on my way after breakfast," he said, almost apologetically. "You don't have to go yet," Olivia replied. "Stay a few more days. Rest up." "I don't want to impose." "You're not. I insist." The next few days unfolded like a quiet ritual. Olivia went to work. Thomas stayed behind, reading the old books on her shelves and even tidying the place up. He washed the dishes, folded laundry, and once even surprised her with a warm dinner when she came home late. It felt strange, like having an uncle around or an old friend who had come back from another life. But things took an unexpected turn on the 4th day. Olivia came home to find her door slightly ajar. Her heart pounded as she stepped inside cautiously, only to see Thomas sitting on the floor with an open box beside him. It was her late father's box, the one she had kept tucked away in the closet. Inside were medals, letters, and pictures from his time in the army. "I'm so sorry," Thomas said quickly. "I was looking for a photo album you mentioned, and the lid came off this one." Olivia relaxed, but her curiosity was piqued. "Did something catch your eye?" Thomas picked up a photograph. It showed her father standing with a group of soldiers, all dressed in camo, rifles slung over their backs. "I knew him," Thomas said quietly. Olivia frowned. "You knew my dad?" "Robert Carter," he nodded. "We served together in Kuwait. He was my commanding officer." Her mind reeled. "Why didn't you say anything before?" "I wasn't sure it was the same Robert Carter. But now that I see his face, there's no mistake." Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. Her father had passed away 5 years ago, and she missed him every day. The idea that this man had known him, had shared time with him in one of the most difficult chapters of his life, felt surreal. Thomas continued, his voice thick with memory. "Your father saved my life. We were caught in crossfire during a supply run. He pulled me to cover and carried me back with a shrapnel wound in his leg." Olivia sank into a chair, stunned. "He used to talk about his little girl," Thomas said. "Always had a photo of you in his wallet. Said he wanted to make it home for your 8th birthday. Did he?" She nodded, eyes glistening.
He did.
After that night, everything changed. Thomas wasn't just a stranger anymore. He was a connection to her father's past. Over the next week, they shared stories, laughed, and even cried a little. Olivia called her mother and told her about the discovery. Her mom was shocked, emotional, and even asked if she could speak to him. One evening, Olivia came home to find a letter on the kitchen table. It was from Thomas. He'd left while she was at work. The note read, "Olivia, you gave me more kindness than I ever expected to find again. You reminded me that there's still warmth in this world. I didn't want to burden you any longer. I've checked into a veterans shelter your mom helped me find. Thank you for everything. Your father would be proud of the woman you've become. With gratitude."
Thomas.
She stared at the letter for a long time, heart aching and full at the same time. Over the next few weeks, she stayed in touch with him through the shelter. She and her mom even visited. They helped him apply for veterans assistance, get a proper ID, and eventually an apartment of his own. Months later, Thomas stood proudly at Olivia's side when she received a community award for humanitarian outreach. He wore a clean suit and clapped louder than anyone else. Bringing a homeless man home had started as a simple